So today we're gonna tell really weird stories from where we used to work, and they're historical weird stories. None of it took place in the building where our office is currently located. It would have been in the old schoolhouse. So stick around, kids, because you're not gonna believe these stories. But let's go ahead and do the intro. So who's ready to adult?
Not me.
All right, so I have worked in a variety of different industries, in a variety of different job titles, and I can safely say that I have never quite worked anywhere like where we used to work together. And I would say it's more than likely because that company is built on an acquisition model, so they tend to acquire small businesses that maybe have 50 or less people in them. The office that I'm going to be talking about, Miss Jamie's going to be talking about, right? Very small office. And in smaller offices, weird things happen. So I would say my first exposure to the particular special culture of our office in Newark was when we were back in the schoolhouse, and I'm just sitting there doing my job, minding my business, and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of cop cars pulling into the driveway in front of the schoolhouse with the lights going, not the sirens, but the lights, and they had sort of surrounded the building at that point, and I was working but looking out the window going,
You were going, I knew someone did drugs here.
is anybody gonna come in and tell us what to do at this point? Because this is a new experience for me. Well, you might have the full story, but the story that I heard later was one of the gentlemen that worked there was like, "Hey, where's my keys?" And he couldn't find his keys. And then he looked out the window and he's like, "Hey, where's my truck?" And then, "Hey, where's that temp we hired?" And the temp in question had indeed stolen this gentleman's truck, and he had called the police, and they had responded quickly.
Said man, I'll give you the...
Oh, I know what he did, but I don't think the kids need to know.
Yeah,
what he
just know that he was on a mission.
Yeah, he stole it with the intent to commit a crime, basically, which I believe he did, correct?
You would have called that.
Yeah, sure.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Idiots do stupid shit. Yeah. He was dumb.
Yeah. Yep, but that was one of my first memories of like, okay, I am not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Like, I don't even know where we're gonna go.
Just because you're in the
Next.
country doesn't mean you're in Kansas.
Ooh, yeah, and we were so in the country, kids, just again, to give you a frame of reference, that shortly after the little school building we were in, it turned into a dirt road. So if you had people coming to visit, like vendors or from other offices, you had to say, if you hit the dirt road, you've gone too far. Yeah. That was really something we said at work.
We had to go to a gas station if we wanted to eat out.
Yes.
Because there was nowhere to eat.
And even that gas station, that was like a 30-minute drive, 15 minutes to the gas station, 15 minutes back, and then, if you only had a 30-minute break, you were eating it in the car.
Pretty much. It's awesome.
We were way out there in the fresh air, farmland, nature.
There was a tree.
There was a tree
in the back of the school, I remember. I have a picture of said tree at my house. I don't know why. I do. God.
You have happy memories with your tree?
It was, when I did that icky stuff and smoked. I just went outside and it was like foggy and it looked kind of pretty because I wasn't a country person at all. And I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of nice.
Yeah, and it really was a pretty drive to work, but you were definitely out in the boonies on county roads.
Yep,
for sure.
You had to watch out for the peacock.
Yes, I'm pretty sure all of the people that I hired that work in the building that they're in now would never have worked for that company if I had interviewed them in the schoolhouse. I don't think that they would have made it.
It was a cult.
I'm not sure what they would have thought.
I would have thought if I was them and I would have walked in and be like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm good.
Yeah. I think
I don't want it.
some of them might have just driven by the giant basket building and just called it a day right then and there. Like, yeah, I'm not working out here. I don't know what this is. This is very weird.
It's different.
It's definitely different. It was not a traditional
No,
office environment, if you will.
not at all.
What's one of your favorite stories? There's so many. We gotta make sure that we can tell them.
Can I? Because you can edit. Can I do the underwear one?
Yeah, oh, please do the underwear.
Okay.
Oh, please do the. Oh, and then I can. Okay, yes, please do.
Yeah. Okay. So there were, let's say, 15 men to probably 2 women.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to. The person that I worked with before April came, we had our own stall, pretty much.
Yes. And may I interject?
Yes, you go right ahead.
And so I was lady number 3, and the women's room had 3 stalls. So we actually each had our own stalls. But when I first got there, there were these signs everywhere. But there's only 2 women, so I was like, are they extra passive aggressive and super bitchy with each other? Like, they only sit like one step away from each other. But I was like, man, things must be really chilly in here if they're leaving each other hostile notes in the bathroom. But then after we became friends, I got the courage to ask her, hey, what was up with those signs? And she said,
this is why. I like to have a clean bathroom, so I would clean, our bathroom. I was very adamant, you know the word.
yeah.
I was all about it. So I walked in one morning and I'm like, oh my God, 2 stalls were like broken. I worked with all men. Can somebody fix it? I don't work with men at that point, I guess. So I'm like, okay, fine. I want to go to the bathroom. In a clean bathroom, not with black water. What's the black water? So
I'm glad I missed this.
But you would have loved what I did. So I was like, I gotta figure out what this is. So I figured out how to turn off the water, all that fun stuff. And then I'm like, God, why is it black? I lift the back lid off and I'm like, oh my God, there was a pair of men's like boxer briefs or whatever in the back of it. And then when they flushed, it got stuck in the hole. So
What was black?
the underwear from when it had been in the dye. The dye, because it just sat there and the dye ended up running down, and so it was like, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And at that point I'm like, why are men in our bathroom? Like, ew.
Yeah.
It was
They had 2.
yeah,
There were 2 men's rooms and 1 ladies' room.
exactly. And they were, because they were too lazy. Never mind, it's another story. But anyway, so I'm like, I gotta fix this because nobody's gonna come in here and do this. So I went and got 2 big trash bags, put them on my arm, taped it, and then had a little help with this side, taped it, and I'm like, black trash bags, walking down. I go and I get said underwear out, put them in a plastic bag, and then I walked around. These yours? They're size large, they could be yours.
And did you have any
No takers.
no takers?
No.
What a surprise.
Nobody wanted them Fruity Balloons. They weren't
I-
anybody's.
Wonder if that person still works at that company.
I don't know, but if they do,
Yuck.
it was so bad. I'm like, okay.
Definitely ick.
So I fixed the toilet, and it was because some person, before we get there in the morning, decided that he needed to use the restroom. I don't know what he did in order to have to remove his boxer briefs.
Probably a short. I would get a short.
Yeah.
Short is where I would go.
Whatever he did, he put him in he wanted to hide his evidence, which was even more dumb. Like,
Why not just
Just
throw
throw
it in the
them away.
trash? Yes.
there's a big dumpster out back.
That's true. There are so many ways to have discreetly disposed of those undies.
But instead, he's like, just put them in the back of the toilet. So I had to get my handy dandy trash bags.
And if you think what we're describing is even some of the strangest things we went through, the answer to that would be no. We had a colleague who doesn't work there anymore who was just spectacular, and he was very funny, and he did all kinds of voices. And whenever wildlife made its way into the building, which happened quite frequently, I remember at one point we had several temps in to build something or the other. It wasn't my product or whatever it was, but they were there, and one of them came back from using the ladies' room, which was clean. And she said to me, hey, just so you know, there's a hose laying across the hallway. You might want to go get it so that somebody doesn't trip on it. And me, knowing there's no hose anywhere near the ladies' room at all, I went out to the hallway to investigate. It was a great, big, huge black snake, which I knew what to do because that was
That's just one of them black snakes, so they ain't gonna do anything to you. They don't bite.
I wasn't gonna touch it, but I knew the guy who would, and he could do an amazing Steve Irwin imitation. And he would always pick up bats as they made their way in. I know that he definitely multiple snakes. He definitely handled multiple snakes. I don't think he ever dealt with any of the mice we had, did he? Oh, yeah. Okay, so mice. Yeah.
He was
he was
your
our
Dr. Doodle.
critter getter.
Yeah, he really was.
And he, like we said, had a great sense of humor. I remember one time he retrieved a bat from one of the men's rooms, and it was around Girl Scout cookie time, and he put the bat in a box, an empty box of Girl Scout cookies, and then told one of our other colleagues that there were free cookies in the kitchen. Oh my God. Do you remember?
I don't know if I was there for that.
I just told her who it was. Anyways, the gentleman who opened the box of Girl Scout cookies and the bat comes flying out. All I heard was, damn it! And then of course he said the name of the person who had put the bat in the Girl Scout cookie box.
That is so sweet.
And that was spectacular. It was
good
really spectacular. Like,
we had, I mean, it was...
You never knew what you were going to be coming on into. And then, do you remember when we moved, you and the Steve Irwin fellow tried to scare me?
Yes.
you want to tell that story? Now keep in mind, I was always in back meetings, and I'm very focused, and so it's like I had 15 minutes.
Wait a minute, which one is it? Did we scare you more than one?
That one.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Okay.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. We did a lot of stuff.
I know we did do a lot of stuff. No, we were leaving, and there was a whole bunch of stuff in the full-size recycle bins, you know. And you had Steve Irwin hide in the bin, and you called me into your office. You're April, I need you to come in, and I think it was on Teams or Skype or whatever we were on.
I think I remember.
You might have called me. It might have been an actual phone call on our actual office phones, which we had at the time. They're not part of that company anymore, but, and I thought, oh crap, something's wrong. They need a resident executive. I think at the time was the highest ranking person in the building, because everybody else was traveling. So I was like, yeah, what do you need? And
Steve.
And Steve Irwin pops out of the bin and goes, boo! And I'm like, what do you need, Jamie? And he's like, what the hell?
I remember,
and she's like,
that a little bit. Yeah, she wasn't fun sometimes. She was
when
so
I'm focused, I am focused. If you need me, I am boop.
Like, she just like,
everything else just falls away.
You gotta hit her at the moment where she's like, ugh, right, I'm done. And then you can, then it would have been fun. It was good. I don't know. I have awesome memories.
Yeah, I do too. And I would say, you never know, it sounds corny, what you have until it's gone. Like, at that time, would you have ever guessed those were the happiest years of our career there? Would you have ever guessed that in a million years?
Not at all.
Same. No. I was just like, this is a madhouse. When do things get normal?
It was in a school.
Yeah.
We had a business out of a school.
Yes.
One of the restrooms was a kindergarten restroom.
With the little bitty
Mind
toilet.
you, I'm 5'9". Okay, so when I had to go to the restroom, when I first, we first moved there, I go in this bathroom and I sit down and I don't think I could get up because I'm 5'9". Like,
but But
it's like this.
That's the one that they all thought was haunted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that when I...
One of the men's bathrooms they thought was haunted, just like they thought the third floor was haunted.
Hey, the third floor was freaky.
Well, whenever I wanted to get away from all of them, I just went up to the third floor and hung out for a while.
I was just like, man, if we could move it, I would want this as my office. It was a whole entire classroom. It was fun though.
And the cafeteria was legit. A school cafeteria, like
still
trays.
Even had the trays.
Yeah. And the industrial kitchen equipment and the little like railings that you would slide and the folding tables with the little circle seats was, yes.
Yep. And I have 2 school desks at my house that I use as like end tables for my kids' room. Why not?
When we moved, a church bought
it. Lord, a church bought it.
Right.
So we were in a building.
I'm not moving in on unholy ground.
Yeah, like we really... Oh, we had to go to work every day, and I have a mouth on me. I'm sorry, I do sometimes.
What?
No.
I know.
So, you know, when you walk in, you're like, oh my God, I know. But then you realize, oh God, I forgot there's a church upstairs. I can't. Like you felt bad.
I upstairs, so I remember one Monday I came to work and my cube wasn't there anymore because they changed that room into a snack bar. And I was like, where's my stuff?
Where do I work?
Where? So it's like an Easter egg hunt. Where's my cube? Where did it go?
Did anybody move it for you?
Amen.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
It was in a box in the brown room.
Yeah, and the second floor used to be, they actually had a gym. So they would go in there and play basketball.
But it was a low ceiling.
Yes. So because it was an elementary.
You had to, yeah.
You couldn't just, there's no hoop.
You had to slow the curve to get it in the hoop. Yeah.
Yeah. More like
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
And then there was that time that one of the guys we used to work with talked smack to me because I was a big giant nerd, and he challenged me to a hoop shootout, and I kicked his butt, and I was like, who's a nerd now? Nerd. And when I tell you who it was, you'll be like, no way.
Oh God. That's really?
Yeah,
Nice.
kicked his butt.
That's like,
I was very proud.
that's awesome. That's like
I felt like Michael Jordan that day.
That's one of those,
Yeah, which is amazing because I have zero athletic skills at all. That was just a fluke day, and I decided to claim it as on purpose.
You were all over it. That's why you were like, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna walk out there not winning. I mean.
And one of my favorite things to do at that office, which I carried into the next office that we moved to, was wear some of the weirdest clothes I could possibly think of just to see what people would say if they had the courage to say anything. It was my favorite thing to do. And it still is. And you're going to see some weird fashion on our channel because I just think that's funny.
Yep. I thought it was awesome when I would see her come in the office. I'm like, do you have glasses in like every color? Like,
I do.
Like, she has glasses that match all of these outfits. I mean, she would show up in like, you would think it was like a model gown, you know, like
I was walking the runway
and
in this little bitty country school house.
She's all about it. But that's what
just
made
see
me,
what them boys said if they said anything.
that's what made me like you so much.
You remember the time I wore hammer pants?
Yes, oh my God. Do you guys know what hammer pants are?
Oh, I think I have a picture. I'll find a picture and put it on the screen right here if I can figure out how to do that.
We'll get there.
I'll figure it out. Yeah. It was. I had the worst haircut at that time too. It was terrible.
She really brought some spice to the office.
I tried.
Yeah, because before that it was just...
Somebody had to try to inject a little sophistication.
She really tried. It was worth a shot. I'm sorry. We tried to get rid of them dip spit cans, but sometimes...
Oh my goodness, that is the first time in any professional environment people just left their spit cups on their desk, and I'm like, ugh.
Dude, that's gross.
Icky.
Like, ew.
But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, that was me just starting to vent and I need to just stop, but yeah. Oh, a real good one I had was with Steve Irwin. It was winter out and we had the big cafeteria, so we had those big cookie sheets. And Steve went and found me a big cookie sheet, and there was a big hill in front of the school, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it. So I got on this big cookie sheet, and he pushed me down the hill, and I almost made it. They were like, oh, you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it, and then I totally wiped out. So he had to be funny, and he ended up like getting on it like it was a snowboard.
Oh.
And of course
Of
it
course
was
he
him,
did it, right.
and it was like flawless. And
Effortless,
like,
yes.
whatever, I'm going back in. You can climb up the hill now. Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah, it was good times. Weird times, but definitely very, very good times.
It was.
All right, well, that's enough of a trip down amnesia lane for today. So, remember to like and subscribe, and until we're together again, keep your head up.
You got it.
Love you.